All right, the recording started. Let me share the screen. And yeah. So in the last class, we discussed about the forecast techniques and then how to create the best fit. How do we, what are the takeaways from important algorithms, how they are calculating the results, and most importantly, we also understood the error parts based on which the best fit algorithm works, right? Whichever has the least error, where do we set up that? How do we implement it? How do we understand those results? All those discussions has happened. Now we move again to a special algorithm, which is the demand sensing. So traditionally, what we were doing, traditionally till now, we have learned to generate the forecast for short-term to mid-term horizon, uh, which may have a weekly cycle, which may have quarterly cycle, right? Or which may have a monthly cycle. But now we want to talk about the algorithm which has some kind of pattern recognition and which works on the short-term horizon. How much short it can be weekly, and it also can be at the daily level. So let us try to understand an example of this, what you see on my screen. So this example tells us, now for example, we have an aggregated demand for a particular week of 9,000 units, right? In a manufacturing plant, there is a demand of 9,000 units. Now, if we just divide it per day, let's say that 5 days are working days. So we just divide it 9,000. So it is coming as 1,800 per day. So now to suffice this 1,800 per day demand, let's say that we have 3 warehouses. So in a particular region, we have 3 regional warehouses. So let's say that this demand is segregated 600, 600, 600, right? 1,800 we just segregated. So now it may depend on the behavior could be different when we talk about the day-wise schedule of the demand of each region. So for example, we are talking about this is Monday, this is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, all 5 days. Maybe at the first regional warehouse, the demand can increase during the weekend. Whereas in the second regional warehouse, it may be, good amount of demand uh, in the starting of the week, but when we are ending the week, the demand is declining. One of the regional warehouse behavior is that the demand is constant, 600 per day, right? And then it is constant. So this behavior, if we try to match it with 600 per day, so do we require 600 here? No. Do we require here? But yes, definitely in this behavior, we may require on Friday, right? So it is not a uniform, uh, uniform kind of pattern that we will have on all the 5 days, depending on the nature of the business that we are in, right? For example, if we are in the food industry in a metro city, then demand may go more on the weekends, right? During the festival seasons, it may also be moderate in in the weekdays, in the mid of the weekdays, because of the corporate offices planning for some lunches or dinners, right? So it depends on the behavior, that where the demand has to be. So what do we call it? So this demand is not front loaded, right? It is back loaded. So the second one is front loaded. In the front days, it is loaded more, right? So in this kind of unlikely situations, when we want to plan it at a day level, at a very short level, right? So in that case, we can use algorithms like demand sensing. So mostly in FMCG industries, or there are very specific industries, you know, uh, that they use demand sensing. I've also seen one of the milk industry who deliver milk products has implemented this demand sensing to have better understanding on the day level, uh, you know, uh, forecast that is being calculated based on the demand, right? So in a nutshell, how this algorithm works, if we are talking about so tight schedule which gives the information at a day level, definitely, we need to feed the system in that particular perspective, right? So let us also see that how do we feed the system and what do we feed the system, right? So let us open. It has been many days we haven't opened this paint. So now the topic is let me bring it in this way. So this one, let's say, is the demand sensing. So what does it contains? It contains the ML portion, which is the machine learning algorithm. And what else it has? It has the pattern recognition. So what do we feed in this demand sensing algorithm? Definitely it has these capabilities on its own. This is the way that it has designed. It has the machine learning capabilities. So what do we feed? So first thing that we feed in is this arrow. Second thing that we feed in is this arrow. So what is this arrow and what is this arrow? So whatever the uh, consensus demand plan that we created out of our stats forecast, that midterm to long term, right? Whatever we have learned so far. So that will be one of the input to feed in this, the consensus demand plan. And then what is this arrow? So because you are talking at the day level, guys, so you will also, uh, you know, tell to the system at the order level what are your details. So what will be that details? Your future dated orders. That is one. So how you will calculate your future dated orders? Let's say that in your ECC system or S4 system, you have several sales orders. and those sales orders have the creation date, right? And then you will also have the requested delivery date. So if the requested delivery date is in the future, right? So that's how you will recognize that it's a future dated orders. Or you have some kind of other sales orders that you will take into consideration. You have some deliveries that also you will input it to your demand sensing. You have some kind of open orders, right? Which are yet still to be delivered to the customers. In your business, you may have some emergency orders from the customers, right? All this, you are going to feed it to the demand sensing algorithm. Apart from this machine learning one, what are the capabilities that the machine learning will have? It will also take, all the causal factors. So what else it will take? It will take all the causal factors and some kind of, let's say, example as weather signals, or on Twitter, let's say some kind of sentiments are going on. So we can call it as social media sentiments or some kind of market share, how it is behaving. Right. And what else you have? You have some kind of important prizes if you are, let's say, so what are the important resources? Definitely oil prices, right? Because oil prices, if it increase, it will impact the transportation to transfer the goods from one place to another place. All these are causal factors, or you can call it as external factors as well, right? So this all matters. So then what will be the output of this, right? So this is all we are feeding in, and then it is applying the machine learning algorithm, pattern recognition techniques, all that. What it will give us? It will give us this arrow. So this arrow is an output. So what is the output? The output is the sensed demand. So you will see a key figure, which is the sensed demand on this one. So machine learning algorithm takes our consensus demand plan, which can be for 1 year, and then it recognizes what is the pattern in it, and it also consider different kind of orders that we have in our business, right? All those things it considers, and then come up with something called as sense demand, and this is the final output of the demand sensing, right? Now let us see that how, let me first take this also in our PPT. After this, maybe.
So basically the what is this consensus demand or the statistical forecast is at a weekly level. The FTO sales or delivery is basically the net amount of every day level. And then the casual factors is which is basically something they will use as the algorithm that is not even input by any of the business users, correct? It is basically coming from the
Eh,
SAP itself.
yeah,
Okay.
exactly. The algorithm is designed by SAP. Yeah, we
Okay.
just have to create the profiles in the way that we have created the profiles for consensus one we learn. In the same way, this is also one of the algorithm. Like we were adding some algorithms like single exponential, double exponential. In the same way, we need to add the algorithm, which is the demand sensing
We
algorithm.
don't worry about how these calculations are done in the background. You just have to give the data to them. That's it. To the
Yeah,
IBP.
exactly. And it will not make sense for all the industries, as I was explaining in the past, that it will be very few industries that they will do some kind of detailed analysis that whether we really need this to be implemented, because generally you know uh, people won't um, implement it so easily until unless they see ROI on it, right?
Yeah.
So they will first of all evaluate it, that um, is our production plan is also ready to react whenever it gets the sense demand, let's say, which is very short, which is at the very short level, right, which is talking about days. So we don't have much time to adjust our plans, and then these departments have to be very fast. So which are the departments which has to be fast? It has to be mainly the production department, and then the transport department also should be capable of adjusting this within the short term horizon, right? Because on the ground also the thing should work, then only it makes sense to implement it, because system will give you the sense demand, but is it making sense for you? So people think a lot about it, and then if their business really needs it, then only they will go for this. Otherwise, you will not see it in our regular businesses that people go for demand sensing.
So basically, after this, they will come with the adjusted demand planning, or they will use a demand sensing for the going forward, right? Will they going to adjust it by looking at the different key figure, the demand sensing, and then the consensus
Yeah,
demand plan?
yeah, exactly. They will also see that what is the gap. For example, this was my number of the consensus demand plan for this week. And maybe for the sense demand, it is 50 less than that or 50 more than that. They will also, make some kind of graphs and then compare it and then see that how my sense demand is going. And, you touched upon very important points. So understand this, guys, that, we also have the capability um, which is there when we are implementing it, and we can tell to the system that how high we can go in terms of sense demand and how low we can go as compared to uh, you know uh, let's say the consensus one. So for example, management may give that uh, uh, you know uh, may give the targets to the demand planners that you should be in a range of plus minus 50 units, whatever the consensus forecast has been calculated, because we do not want the demand sensing to change a lot where our departments are not that, maybe they are not that much ready to incorporate some big changes even if demand sensing is proposing. So they will put some kind of cap, and that cap is very, very important, that they will say that minimum forecast increase, how much it can be on the top of the consensus forecast, or uh, maximum how much it can decrease also. So that an upper cap and lower cap also they can provide it. So we'll see that which are the places where we can implement this, and what are those important parameters that we give. So we'll learn about this all, Vinod.
That's fine. Thank
Yeah, so let's log in into IBP. Okay, so which app should I go, guys?
Demand planning.
Demand planning app, yeah, that's right. And specifically we'll go to our app, which is the manage forecast model, because we are talking about now setting up the model. So you gave a smart answer on a very high level, because the demand planning topic is going on. So you go in the demand planning app, right? So that's the smart answer. So let me go to this planning area. So now this is the best fit algorithm, and let's take, and one important thing, guys, this demand sensing is a different animal. You cannot club it with with the with the other models that you already have, which means that, let me go to this best fit. So here in the best fit, we already have added few models, 4 to 5, yeah, 4 models we have added. And if I want to add the demand sensing here, you will see that, they are grayed out. I cannot add them. So it means that it cannot be combined with others. It has to be a separate, profile created only for this algorithm, which is demand sensing. So I'll just close it, and then we'll go to a one which has that single one. So this is the one, stat models. I can just copy it. Let's go inside this. And I'm going to the forecast steps, and I'll remove it because it will not allow to add with any other model. So like we were selecting other algorithms, in the same way, I'll select this, but let me just talk about the input. So now this input, as we had in the normal stats forecast, the standard one, we had the actual sales coming in, and then the output was getting saved into the statistical forecast. So now here, let us say that, we take something called as requested quantity. So this requested quantity is nothing but, for example, in your sales order, from your S4 system, you're capturing it, you're bringing that data as well in your IBP system, and that is captured in your in one of the key figure called as requested quantity. So that may become your input, and then you want to have this output in sensed demand quantity.
Oh, I'm. Can you clarify me? So the we have in the different forecast method or forecast model
Yes.
where we had those the consistent demand. But how are we inputting the consistent demand for the demand sensing here?
Yeah. We'll come there. So there is a field. So after we add this, we will go there.
But you are putting main input forecast instead. You are just giving the name, the registered quantity, correct? I guess so.
Yes. Yeah. So we will proceed. We'll proceed. So why these are, just 1 minute, in the general section. Okay. So let me also say that, this periodicity, let's take it at a day level. And what I want to consider is, at a day level, I can give it, generally it will be uh, 4 to 8 weeks of the history that we can take. So let's say that 4 weeks means 1 month, right? So 45 days, 1.5 month. And then the forecast that we, uh, 6 weeks we can take as the history, and then forecast we can generate it for 1.5 month. So it's very short term. So let's say that it is some 120 days that I'm taking in for my main input. And now if I go to the pre-processing steps, let's skip this one. So now if you see that they are not grayed out, because I have taken it at the monthly level. So this will work at the very short term horizon, and there are full and then update. So we'll come there. So let me just click on the full one as of now. So now you see a lot of parameters. So here you will give your whatever you have calculated in terms of stats forecast. So this is the place that you will give that, this is the key figure where my stats forecast. After that, it has undergone some changes, and then finally it is getting into this key figure. Let's say that demand planning quantity. So I'll give this key figure. If this is not the key figure where my consensus forecast is, which is for 1 year, then I will give the relevant key figure where my consensus forecast will be, right? So this is the place. So the moment I click on the add button, right? So here you are just giving that where exactly your sense demand will be captured, right? After this algorithm is executed. but then you are giving more information to the system that what are the other things that we talk about, we will give it. And this was the stuff, the maximum and the minimum gap that we were talking about. We are also telling to the system, hey system, do not go beyond this range, -50 and then +50 of your consensus forecast that was already calculated for an year. And also, there is a concept of snapshot. A snapshot means that, for example, let's say that, we have a forecast of 12 months. Every month we are taking the snapshot that how the, data looks like, so that we can keep those records. So snapshot is nothing but as a screenshot you are taking and then saving it into the system. So those records you are saving into the system so that you can refer it back, even if it gets changed. If you want to refer it back, okay, I can see in this snapshot what exactly was the value last time, how much it got changed, if I want to compare it. So that is also one of the important, uh, algorithm input that we usually give. So we are just giving, couple of important algorithms to the to this page during the implementation, and then the system calculates in its own way by using all the machine learning techniques and uh, stuff like that. All right. So where do we have the uh, just 1 minute. Oh, sorry to hear, Jay. Take care. You can listen to the recording whenever you are better. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So here, this is the one that, we can choose that it is static based on the best fit, or, we want to define it in terms of delivered quantities, which are already delivered, or we want to take it on the sales orders, right? So dynamically, we can also choose them that what is that. So if you want to make it on the sales orders, we have to get that sales orders as well, uh, you know, um, into the system, or the delivery quantities. All those data has to come from your S4 system into your planning system, so that, you can work on that. So this is, yeah. So this is your, if you just select that based on sales orders, or if you select the delivered quantities, so this is also, you need to give that delivered quantities in which key figure that you are saving it. For example, uh, uh, you are saving it in the adjusted key figure, or you are just saving it in the delivered quantity key figure, or if you have created your own key figure, the business has, uh, is relying upon, then that particular key figure will actually fall in here.
Yeah, just would you
Yeah.
mind mapping? Would you mind opening that the paint and then show me which is related to the which part? I'm confused here.
Okay. So relax. So,
Okay.
this algorithm has a lot of inputs, and it is not, that you will digest all of them. So you need to take Hajmola, right, later on, and then, slowly you will digest it. If you go to the health file, you will read about it and you will understand more. But don't worry, we are going slowly. Yeah. So in the pain document, it will be tough to explain, because what we can understand in the pain document is the concept that at a high level, right, what we are considering. Now we have gone to the place where we give all this kind of order information, how much consensus demand it has to capture, and we talked about the cap and all. Now we are into the real screen that uh, uh, we are trying to just learn that,
Yeah.
because
So which one is the consensus demand plan? I understand that you are giving the
yeah, yeah,
which one is the consensus demand plan? That's the one. Okay.
this one, yeah, yeah. This one is
This
the
one.
consensus part. So on the top of the section, if you go, so let us just bifurcate it. We just added it, and the first thing it comes here is it is asking the consensus demand portion, and we are also telling to the system that how much it can go up and how much it can go low. And
Okay.
then, yeah, and then also, we are also giving to the system where we are storing our snapshot. So a snapshot is a monthly process in every company. So there are snapshot jobs that um, you keep these snapshots only for key figures. I mean, important key figures where you want to just keep some kind of backup history, that how they were looking at that particular point of time. And that information we are feeding in the first section,
Okay.
in the first one. Yeah. And then you are telling to the system that how to disaggregate it at a day level. So now if you see that, because here we spoke about this, that the demand can be front loaded, it can be back loaded, right? So it can have the different behavior. So on a day level, how do you want to disaggregate it? Now
So
this
this
is
is
your second section, right?
okay.
Yeah. So periodicity is day that you have taken and all that. And then you are also telling to the system, now if you see that, this deliveries we are taking, sales orders we are taking, all lot of orders that we are taking. So we are also telling to the system that,
Okay. Good. Yeah. Now I understand.
yeah,
Thanks.
yeah, yeah, so which is my delivered quantity, so that particular key figure you will take, and then it will give you all the standard key figures. But in your business, you may be using another key figure to just capture all your delivery quantities, all that from your S4 system. So just that key figure we need to use it here. Yeah. And then what is the daily horizon that we give? For example, 4 weeks. So in such kind of algorithms where you have the machine learning kind of algorithms, that will work on the data points. So for example, how many data points are there? It will just go into it and then apply some machine learning algorithms, all that stuff it will do, and it will come up with the result, right? So what basically we are trying to discuss is that demand sensing is fundamentally different, which uses the demand signals to respond to the real world events such as forecast changes, weather changes, all that is incorporated in the machine learning algorithm in the back end. So what we are giving, we are just selecting the main key figures in our system and then leaving it to the system to come up with the sense demand. That's it. So here we are selecting what are those, work days. If we want to consider it Saturday, Sunday, we just have to tick mark it all the 7 days. So it depends. And these are some optional things, we can just ignore it at the moment. But whenever you want to go in depth, there is a lot of uh, theory in the net. But if you understand this key concepts, whatever we have discussed today, you will be able to digest that, um, you know the theory that SAP has given. um, on the net, right? So let me just save it. Okay. Yeah, you cannot select calculate errors. Yeah, so that's fine because it doesn't work on the error method. It is not comparing anything. Then what error it is giving? Correct all errors in your forecast method. Okay, so it seems that there is some error. So why it is not showing to me? Okay, this is an error. Okay, the value entered as the number of historical period will result in the negative outcome. The number of historical periods must be equal to or greater than 133. See, this has the kind of capability that demand sensing implementation has got, that it will give you that the data that we are giving may show the negative outcomes which may not be meaningful to us. So it is just giving some kind of numbers uh, that will allow us to. So that was the error. Still there is an error. Let's see. Okay, so maximum. So enter a value which is, so according to the data that we are entering, it is asking us to enter a value which is less than this. Okay, so now, so as and when we are saving, it is just guiding us. Okay, so now here it is, if this is switched on and configuration expert view, we generally, I've never seen the clients to do that, but it is not allowing me to do that. Bias, adjust, key figure. So I think these are all the important ones, but why? I think they have done some changes in the recent upgrade that has happened into this algorithm. Let me think about it, because we never used this option. I think this is the one they added newly. Why they are forcefully asking to enter all this data? If I switch off this configuration expert view, because I'm switching it off, but it is switching it on. Okay. Bias adjustment factor. Let me see if now I can switch off. I don't know. It's a bug or something, because if I'm switching it off, even if it is asking me to enter the the field uh, that was there, strange. So now you see that I think it's a bug, right? Because now if I switch on and then
It's a bug. They put the exception condition somewhere wrong.
yeah, exactly. So now, because if it is switch off, it should not bother about the mandatory fields, right? Because it is switch off. I shut it down, but still it was bothering. But okay, let us not bother. Let us move forward. So this is the way that we just give it in this way, and there will be no post-processing steps of this to calculate the errors. because we are not comparing any method. It is just one method, which is the demand sensing we are focusing on, and which works in this way. And now I have already saved this. So let us go to our Excel. Okay. So Tony, just go through the last recording that we have recorded for the forecast error. I think you were not available in that session. So you can just go through that, and that will help you to understand all the standard errors that we discussed in our last session prior to this class. Okay, so I think we had the favorite. Let me copy the sheet. So this is one of the input that we have taken, and then the output will be that sensed demand quantity. This is what we have taken. So now, if I put a cursor, you see that D. D means this is at a day level. This key figure is designed especially for demand sensing algorithm. So this is the output of the demand sensing algorithm, right? So if you relate with this, this is your output, sensed demand. And then this is your one of your key input that you are giving. And this is also at the product location customer level, and filter, yeah, let it be there. And this is yeah, okay. Or this much we don't need it. Let's say the beginning of 2022. Okay. No data found, that's fine. So I think what I have to do is I need to load some data in the requested quantity, because we will not have any data coming in, coming in from the S4 system or EC system. So we'll continue this exercise. Don't worry. So at least something you are able to relate, guys, from today's session. You got an understanding, uh, just the look and feel, how the demand sensing looks like, how it is different, from our standard stats forecast in terms, so many features it has the machine learning capabilities, it has pattern recognition capabilities. What are the inputs? Because these inputs we have not given it in our traditional. So this is the question, one of the question, important one, which you can just prepare it at the high level.
Okay, yeah, this is makes sense. Yeah, it's
Okay.
easy to understand. Now we can go navigate the help file, understand a little more if needed. But this is basically giving
Yes,
the
yes.
basic understanding of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So don't invest too much time in the demand sensing in the first half. So
Okay.
first concentrate on the other topics, and just to digest it, have a brief understanding whatever we have discussed today. And once you are comfortable, maybe then go to the health file, not in your early days,
Okay, sure.
for this
So
demand.
now we are going to have a class on Monday. So you will be showing this demo in the Excel, right?
Yes, yes. Yeah. So we have to execute it. So we'll populate some data, and then, we will just execute the demand sensing algorithm. So there are two ones, which is the full, and then there is delta. So we'll understand in the implementation projects, how do we, uh,
So
implement.
is there a way to is there a way to find out which forecast model is coming from this all these key figures by looking at the key figures in the Excel, or only we will know, only the administration
Yeah,
will know?
yeah, exactly. So, for example, the key figures which are related to the demand, which is at the day level mainly. So,
Mhm.
those will be specifically for your sense demand.
Right.
Yeah, and
So I
the
mean, if
ones.
I want to know, right, the key figures are here. If I want to know how these key figures are designed from the Excel, I will not be able to find out, right?
Yeah, so as and when you keep spending time, so all the
Uh-huh.
standard key figures, for example, now you go to the, so there is no bifurcation first of all. So if you go to the planning area, right, so in that planning area you will have all the standard key figures. So
Yeah.
just by looking at the description of the key figures, you can make it out. For example,
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
that's why the naming convention is very important here.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. So, yeah. So,
Okay.
for example, it is demand planning quantity. So it does not need an explanation, that we will not have any confusion that it belongs to the supply side, right? So if there is
Okay.
something called as, production receipts,
Uh-huh.
transportation receipts. So those are the kind of key figures which will be belonging to the supply side, right?
Correct,
So a
correct.
couple of key figures we have seen in our demand section. So those really looks like they belong to the demand side. When we move to the supply side, we'll be talking more about the receipts, about the output in terms of numbers, right? That
Mhm.
how your production data looks like, how your transportation data looks like, so how your receipts are being generated. So those numbers, then you can think of that those key figures will be related to your supply side. So that will come up automatically. You don't have to much scratch your head.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Makes sense. Thank you. Yeah.
All right, very good, guys. So sorry for the inconvenience for this 2 3 days. I was just following up with the coordinator, but I was not able to get her. So because she's admitted now, and I'll make sure that we have the regular link for Monday. Yeah, so keep watching your communication, that for Monday you may receive a new link, our regular ones, but a new link, right? So see you in our next class, and then happy day for the rest of the day, or happy night.
Okay.
Bye.
Sure. Happy weekends. Bye now.
Bye.